Hello and welcome to Game Gen. If your idea of fun is spending 10 minutes planning a single battle, then yelling, "I meant to do that," when it all goes wrong, then you're in good company. Today, we're checking out some upcoming turn-based RPGs that look seriously awesome, or dangerously addictive, but probably both. Whether you're into deep strategy, rich storytelling, or just love the satisfaction of outsmarting your enemies one move at a time, there's something here that just might become your next obsession. So, sit back, get comfy, and let's take a look at some of the coolest turn-based RPGs. Warhammer 40,000 Dark Heresy. Warhammer 40,000 Dark Heresy is all about playing detective in space. If your detective job involves serving a paranoid space pope empire, hunting chaos cults, and occasionally setting things on fire for the Emperor. Originally a tabletop RPG, it's now getting a full-blown CRPG treatment by Owlcat Games, the folks behind Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous. And honestly, it's shaping up to be one of the most interesting narrative-heavy games in the Warhammer 40k universe. You start as a lowly acolyte for the Inquisition. As you rise in power, you'll build your own warband full of weird and dangerous companions. Some are loyal Imperial citizens, others might be less orthodox. Hello, Xenos mercenaries! Sea of Remnants. Sea of Remnants is a free-to-play ocean adventure RPG where you play as a puppet person who wakes up shipwrecked with no memories. Classic setup. You're found by a mysterious girl and end up in a weird but beautiful city called Orbtopia, where everyone seems to have their own drama going on. The world is open and full of secrets. There are dynamic seas, spooky islands, and ancient ruins to stumble across. You get your own ship, which you can totally upgrade and customize, and you'll recruit puppet-looking crew members to help you out. Naval battles are real-time, while the land combat goes full turn-based RPG with dice rolls, slick combos, and mechanics that feel a bit like Persona or Honkai Star Rail. Star Wars Zero Company. Star Wars Zero Company is basically what happens when you mix Star Wars with tactical strategy goodness like XCOM. It's a turn-based single-player game set near the end of the Clone Wars. Gameplay-wise, think XCOM but with lightsabers and droids. You'll plan out every move on the battlefield, using cool Star Wars tech like force powers or healing stims. On harder difficulties, there's permadeath and limited saves, so losing a squad mate actually hurts, especially after you've customized their species, gear, and combat roles. Between missions, you manage your squad's base, send out informants to classic Star Wars locations, and build relationships between teammates. These bonds aren't just for show. They unlock special abilities and team-up attacks during combat. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and want to see more like it, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out the channel and lets me know you want more content like this. Alright, back to the video. Esoteric Ebb. Esoteric Ebb is basically what you'd get if Disco Elysium and Dungeons & Dragons had a weird but hilarious baby. You wake up in a morgue with no clue as to what's going on, and your own brain immediately starts arguing with itself. You're technically a cleric, but your intelligence stat is pretty sure you're supposed to be a wizard king instead. Yeah, it's that kind of game. It plays like a D&D campaign run by your funniest friend, full of oddball encounters, overly dramatic stat checks, and dialogue that constantly messes with you. You've got stats like wisdom and intelligence that talk to you, offering wildly different advice. At one point, you debate whether to use your precious resurrection spell on a random dead guy, while your intelligence is like, why waste magic on someone who didn't even have life insurance? Artis Impact. Artis Impact is one of those rare indie games that feels both deeply personal and incredibly polished. It follows a Kane, a young woman trying to find her way in a post-apocalyptic world that's equal parts mysterious, broken, and kinda beautiful. She's not alone though. Her sarcastic AI sidekick, Bot, tags along for the ride, and the banter between them keeps things light, even when the story gets a bit heavy. Combat is turn-based and refreshingly straightforward. It's not bogged down with complex systems, but it still rewards smart thinking, especially during boss fights and when upgrading a Kane's skills. But the real magic happens between battles. You'll explore vibrant, secret-filled maps, meet quirky characters, and stumble into a surprising mix of dark moments and genuinely wholesome ones. Digimon Story: Time Stranger. Digimon Story Time Stranger is the first brand new game in the Digimon Story series in nearly a decade, and it's finally dropping on October 3rd, 2025. If you've been waiting for a big return to monster raising adventures, this one looks like it's worth the hype. You'll explore both real-world Tokyo, like Shinjuku and Akihabara, and a whole new digital world called Iliad, with time travel and parallel dimensions driving the plot. Combat is pretty easy to pick up, but still strategic. It's 3v3 battles with classic Digimon types, Virus, Data, Vaccine, and you can build teams with over 450 Digimon. You can evolve them in tons of different ways, tweak their personalities, and deck them out with gear and costumes. Norse Oath of Blood. Norse Oath of Blood is what happens when a Viking revenge story meets deep strategy and base building. You play as Gunnar, a Norse warrior out to avenge his father's murder. But this isn't just about swinging an axe and calling it a day. To get your revenge, you'll need to build up a settlement from scratch, gather allies, and lead a warband in gritty, turn-based tactical battles that feel a bit like XCOM, but with beards and axes. The game doesn't stop at just fighting and building though. As your village grows into a full-on fortress, you'll meet a cast of characters from all over Viking-era Norway, each with their own stories and agendas. Your choices, both in relationships and leadership, shape how your settlement evolves and who stands by your side when things get tough. Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles. Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles is a modern remaster of the legendary tactical RPG dropping on September 30th, 2025. And yup, it's coming to pretty much everything: Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. If you've never played it, this is the one where chessboard-style combat meets juicy political drama in a medieval fantasy world. Set in the Kingdom of Ivalice, the story kicks off with a royal mess. Literally. The king dies, his heir is a toddler, and two powerful dukes are fighting for control. Combat is turn-based on a grid, but this isn't your basic tactics game. There's a job system with over 20 classes: mages, knights, dragoons, you name it. And you can mix and match skills for tons of cool builds. Runa. Runa is a chill upcoming indie RPG that mixes classic JRPG vibes with some pretty fresh ideas. If you're into stuff like Final Fantasy X, Persona, or Golden Sun, this one is definitely trying to capture that kind of magic. Combat is turn-based but slick, with elemental matchups, flashy team attacks, and the ability to swap out party members mid-fight without wasting a turn. There's a group of 7 characters total, and you can bring 4 into battle at a time. Lots of variety and strategy, but without being too overwhelming. There's also a strong social side to the game. You can bond with your party, build relationships, and even fall in love. The game lets you build your own little home base in the city, with side stuff like farming, fishing, cooking, and other cozy minigames. Threads of Time. Feel like time traveling in a stylish pixel RPG? Meet Threads of Time, an epic JRPG inspired by classics like Chrono Trigger. You'll bounce between eras, from dinosaur Rome prehistory to cyberpunk futures, collecting quirky characters like a kitsune ninja, a Viking beast vet, and a dino-loving vet. The combat is classic turn-based, but with some slick combo mechanics. You can chain attacks between characters to unleash flashy strategic finishers, and tweak time-based effects to bend fights in your favor. The visuals are gorgeous as well. It's got that HD 2D look where pixel art meets modern lighting and effects, giving it both charm and polish. Each time period has its own puzzles, characters, and secrets to discover. Blightstone. Blightstone is a dark fantasy roguelike that's all about tough decisions, tactical battles, and a whole lot of dying in style. You'll lead a small group of adventurers trying to deliver a magical crystal to stop a demon-fueled apocalypse. Combat is turn-based, but there's no grid here. You can move your characters freely, which makes positioning and strategy feel way more natural. The environment's a big deal as well. You can hide in the grass, burn it down, use weather like fog or rain to mess with enemies, and blow stuff up if the moment calls for it. There's also a lot of resource management. You'll need to keep an eye on your team's health, their gear, and corruption level. Lose the crystal that you're carrying, game over. But don't worry, every failure helps you unlock new characters and powers you up for the next run. Frosthaven. If you've ever played Gloomhaven and thought, This would be amazing as a full-on RPG. Then Frosthaven is absolutely your vibe. It's a tactical, turn-based RPG that takes all the crunchy combat and strategic decisions from the board game and turns them into a digital campaign set in a brutally cold and monster-infested wilderness. You're not just hacking and slashing through dungeons. You're managing an outpost, upgrading buildings, defending against seasonal threats, and keeping your people alive in a world that is constantly trying to freeze or eat you. What's cool is that you get to choose from a bunch of unique character classes with wildly different playstyles. Want to summon skeletons, build gadgets, or smash things with icy fists? Go for it! Shadow of the Road. Shadow of the Road takes you on a tactical, turn-based journey through a stylized, alternate version of feudal Japan. One where steampunk machines, samurai, and spirits clash in a beautifully animated rebellion. You play as a group of rebels escorting a mysterious child through a nation on the brink of transformation. The combat blends classic tactical RPG elements with some pretty slick modern touches. You've got grid-based movement, action timing, and even interrupt mechanics, where you can stop enemy attacks mid-turn. It's deep without being overwhelming, and the synergy between characters adds a layer of strategy that feels super rewarding. Outside of battles, your decisions shape relationships, unlock abilities, and determine how your story unfolds. Warhammer 40,000 Mechanicus II. If you love the dark, gothic sci-fi vibes of Warhammer 40k and enjoy the tactical synergy with a side of ominous chanting and weird machine prayers, Mechanicus II should be on your radar. You're back in the metal boots of the Adeptus Mechanicus, the tech-worshipping half-cybernetic priest of Mars. But this time, things are getting even messier. Gameplay-wise, it's turn-based tactics at its finest, with customizable units, sci-fi gear, and those juicy combo chains that make every move feel impactful. What sets this one apart, though, is the dual campaign. You're switching perspectives between two tech priests on opposite sides of the conflict, each with their own ideology and methods. One sees the Necron as a threat to purge. The other thinks that they're a potential ally? Every Day We Fight. Every Day We Fight is a tactical roguelite where a bunch of regular people get thrown into a time loop after an alien invasion, and they have no choice but to fight back. You explore a destroyed city in real time, sneaking around, looting stuff, picking your fights. Then, when the action starts, it switches to turn-based battles. But instead of just clicking and hoping for a good dice roll, you actually aim your shots yourself, which makes things way more engaging. When your squad dies, the loop resets, but your progress doesn't. Your team keeps their gear, their skills, and their upgrades, so every run makes you stronger. There's even a reflex system that lets your team react to enemies during their turn, so you're not just sitting around waiting. I hope you found this video helpful. Be sure to leave a comment below if any of these games caught your eye, or if there are other upcoming releases you'd like to hear about. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing for more gaming content in the future. Thanks for watching.